All right, Rich Alverson here, and we're going to do this is ICS321, and I'm going to do assignment 5, part C. So let's take a look at that. We're going to do this create a stored procedure to add a customer. And so we have already done parts A and B, and so if we look at that, we've got these 7 tables here, and they're sort of connected up. And let's take a look at the zip code table. We have Washington State and California, one in California, and customer, a bunch of people from that we've never heard of. Okay, so we're using this SQL.ics321.com to sort of test out our stuff. And so right now we're working on this first one here, where we can add somebody in and to see if our procedure works. And I'm just going to click submit right now and see what I get. And I get the procedure does not exist, and that's because I haven't exported it in. If we look at go back to the database and click on the database up here, and we click on routines, we see that there are no routines there. Okay, so I can, but I've given you the starting, or like most of the routine, which is right here. It's this it's you know, down here, but I've added a link to it right here. Complete the add customer procedure that accepts as parameters the last name, the first name, the address, the city, the state, the zip, phone, email. And I give you this file that's got most of it in there, and you need to import that into the database. And the procedure is supposed to add the zip code, city, and state to the zip code table first. And there's a test here. If the zip code is ambiguous, neither the customer nor the zip code is inserted. And so anyway, there's 2 insert statements that we need to fix, that we need to add. So if we click on this link here, we have a table. Let's download the table, and let's put it on the desktop. So, oh, hi. Let me see. Let me get to the desktop here. Here it is. And if we open it up, it looks like this. Let me word wrap it here. See, this is the import table, and we start out the transaction here. And first we check to see if the zip code that's coming in exists in the zip code table already. If it does not, then it makes sure that the city and the state are the right number of characters, and the zip code is the right number of characters. And then it's supposed to insert it in. And I have left out the insert statement, and actually this message statement also. And there's an error message here if you don't put in a city and a state or zip code the right number of characters. Okay, so now if it looks and sees and the zip code does exist already in the zip code table, then it's going to return the city and the state. Okay. After it's done with that, this routine is supposed to add the customer. So after it's done with that, after it's done taking care of the zip code part, then it's going to try to add the customer in there. And if it has any trouble, it's going to return this error code 3. And if the first name and last name and address are not specified properly, in other words, if it's not the right number of characters, it's going to, cause an error here. So let's start out by uploading that table, or that. So we're in Richard H. QACS here, and we can just import that particular SQL file. Okay, and it imported okay. And so now we have a procedure section here. When we click here and look over at the routines, we see we have a routine here. It's add customer. And if we click on this edit, we see there are a lot of input variables. And let's make this a little bit bigger. We see this is where we would add the inputs, SQL input statement. Okay, so let's leave this here. Let's go back to let me just close this. Let's go back to here and let's click on add customer again. And we see now it just says the zip code is not recognized. Okay, so it no longer has the error message of not being able to find the procedure. Now it just says the zip code is not recognized. So let's try to add somebody in there. I'll add maybe myself. Does this work? Oh my, it's all there. Okay, so let's submit. And it says error inserting customer into customer table. Okay, well, anyway, it looks like all of these parameters came in. Error code should not be 0. It should be something bigger because there was an error. Anyway, so it looks like there are some errors there. And so here it is. And so first of all, okay, if we go back and look at, I'm going to click on, I'm going to go back here and click on, do a right click on this, open link in a new tab. And I want to see what the zip code looks like. We're in QACS. Let's look at the zip code table. And we see all Washington and California. So we enter the zip code. If the zip code is currently not in the zip code table, then we add it right here. So we would have a, let me just, it's actually insert into zip code, set zip equals zip 1. That's this thing right here. That's this right here, zip 1, comma, city equals city 1, comma, state equals state 1, semicolon. And if that's successful, I can change the message, error code is 0, and if that's successful, the set message equals zip code insertion successful. All right, and you know, the error message that we actually got out was like, what was it anyway? Error inserting customer into customer table. That's like this one here. So I'm going to change this to concat, because I want to see all the message, even the previous message. So I'll do this. I'm going to do that here also. I better close the paren. All right. Well, anyway, let's see if this takes. Ooh, error. It's usually because I missed a closed quote or something. Let's see. That's good. Insert into zip code. Set zip1 city state. City state successful. Okay, let me and let's set the same. Okay, MSG equals. Okay, that's much better. Okay, all right. So now when let me just start over again. We're here and we click submit. Zip code insertion successful. Error inserting customer into customer table. Okay, that's because we only, so now we're looking at the zip code table here. Let's look at that again. And now we see Honolulu, Hawaii 96825 is added. And that's because, but the customer was not added. Customer is still not added. And so if we were to add the customer, let's go to, close this. Go back here to the database, go to routines, and edit the add customer. And let's go down to the code, make this wider, bring this down. And so we added this one already, so we don't need to actually taken care of that. It's this we have not taken care of. So let's insert into customer. What are we inserting into there? Last name, first name, address, phone, email, zip code. Last name, is that the name of the, I'm gonna do this. Let me take this out of here. I need to go and see, we're inserting in the customer, and it's last name, first name, address, city, phone number, email. All right, I can remember this. Last name, first name, address, phone, email. Okay, let's go back to here, routines, edit. Insert into customer, set last name equals last name 1, first name equals first name 1, address equals address 1, zip zip equals zip one. And phone equals phone one, and email equals email one. All right, and I gotta set MSG equals cat MSG comma customer inserted. All right, and I need a semicolon after insert. Does this work? Okay, good. All right, so I should just be able to click on this again. And I got no message coming out. Error code of 0, all that is there. All right, and if we look at the customer database table, we see here's this new clown. I don't know why those are capital on G whiz. Okay, and we still have the zip code here. So did that get entered in that way? Oh, look at that, capital letters. Oh yeah. All right. Well, so that should get you started with. And then this add vendor is very similar. I provide you with the add vendor routine, and so if we look at this, let's just save this on the desktop and open it up. Add vendor. You see, it's the same thing. You just add this is exactly the same, and then the insertion for the vendor is you're inserting into the vendor table instead. Is very similar, and so you should be able to get that working. And so that takes care of D. So in the next video we'll talk about triggers. Thanks for watching.